And on the line with us right now is Erin Schrode. Erin Schrode is a citizen activist, a social entrepreneur, a journalist with ABC News, former candidate for Congress for California's 2nd District. Erin Schrode, ErinSchrode.com is her website, and you can tweet her at Erin Schrode as well. Erin, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
You were shot at Standing Rock.
That is the case, sir.
I have video of this, and if I may have 26 seconds of your time, I'll play it for our listeners and viewers. Here it is. This is Erin Schrode. It starts out. It's not Erin. It's the person you're interviewing. You are interviewing one of the people, the water protectors, and then you hear this shot, and then you discover, and then the camera gets turned around, and you see Erin. Here it is.
The water protectors, that's what we're doing right here. And all this you see right here is just that we need to stop it, you know. We're basically on ACE property, which is the Army Corps of Engineers land, and they shouldn't even be up there. So we have every right. This is sovereign nation right here. This is sovereign people's land right here. So. Oh! Who the You okay? You okay? Here.
We just and we could see those people watching on television. You could see that there were a couple of guys up on a ridge, the Corps of Engineer property, I guess it was, and I saw a flash of light that looked like the lens of a scope, you know, of a telescope lens on a rifle. So we've seen it now. Tell us what happened.
So I was at Standing Rock to cover what's happening with the water protectors in the fight against the Dakota Access Pipeline, but also there in solidarity. And I was, as you can see, interviewing a Native American man on the banks where the police wanted people to retreat to on Army Corps of Engineer public land.
Were you identified as press? Were you wearing any sort of press credentials, or was there any? You know, to a guy, you know, 100 yards away with a gun, were you clearly press, or did it look like you might have been a protester?
Yeah, we had very small red badges that said press that we were given upon entrance. But actually, it wasn't that man who shot me. There were snipers up on the ridgeline. There were militarized police across the river preventing the water protectors from coming ashore to additional public land, their sacred grounds. But I felt a devastating blow to my lower back. And there was a small tributary behind me. And there were 3 armed men at the front of a boat. And one of them, from only a few yards away, shot me with a rubber bullet out of a grenade launcher.
Wow. Who were these people?
They don't have to wear name badges right now. North Dakota is in a state of emergency, so it's hard to identify, but there are state forces that have come in from 7 states. There are local and county and North Dakota police as well. Based upon reports and what people have been able to discern, it looks as if that's North Dakota State Police, but they are wearing gas masks, goggles, helmets, wielding assault rifles against a peaceful, prayerful people.
That's astonishing. That's absolutely astonishing. What happened after you were shot?
The first thing I did was whip around. I was so startled. There was nothing violent going on. This was a nonviolent protest, no aggression, no provocation. I turned around and I saw the man still with the barrel of the gun out. I doubled over in pain, and people started saying, "It's that man," and people took photographs and immediately came over, "Are you okay?" I saw a medic. In the next few hours, I went back, and a couple of friends of mine have it on camera, filmmaker Josh Fox, the Young Turks, and they put out this footage of me immediately after being shot, and on their camera you can hear the sound of the gunshot.
Right. That's what we just played. Yeah.
They had footage of it from their view, and the next morning I woke up in excruciating pain, but also reading responses that people were giving to this across social media. It had been shared at that point thousands of times. And somebody said, if you were a good reporter, you'd have proof. And I read that and I felt kind of indignant, but I started to go back through my videos thinking, maybe I was filming at the moment I was shot. I didn't know. And I discovered that video that I'd inadvertently taken of the very instant when I was hit with the rubber bullet. and put that out, because I don't wish to remove attention from the bravery of the water protectors, from people putting their lives on the line, from the power of nonviolent action. But there is excessive force being used. And there's a history, as you raised, of targeting journalists. Shailene Woodley was arrested for live streaming. Amy Goodman of Democracy Now! Was charged with trespassing. Dea Schlossberg, a producer, is facing 45 years in jail for documenting a pipeline action.
Wow. Wow. So, wow. What is, and just, for our listeners and viewers who may not know, rubber bullets are not some small thing. I mean, if that thing had hit one of your kidneys, you could lose the kidney. I mean, if there's urine in your blood, you've got a serious problem. You were shot in the lower back. If it hit you in the eye, you go blind. If it hits you in the throat, or in the side of the neck, you could have a stroke and it can kill you. I mean, there are sensitive parts of the body where if a rubber bullet hits them, it doesn't just hurt like hell for days because the muscle's been damaged, but it actually causes death. These are referred to.
They call it less lethal force. And out of every 90 rubber bullets that are fired, 2 people die, 18 are permanently maimed, and 44 require hospital treatment. And this is what they are firing into a crowd. I spoke with a military expert who said there is no training ever for that type of weapon at that range. These are to disperse a crowd with tear gas or to knock in a door from a 20-foot range.
That's what the rubber bullets are designed for, is to knock in a door at 20 feet?
Yeah, apparently you hit the handle and it bursts and the door falls in.
It's that kind of force that hit you in the back. How are you feeling now?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'll be okay. For me, I was very lucky where it hit me, and the muscles are definitely very tense. The bruise is quite a sight, but I'm healing.
Yeah,
and
good.
I just feel very lucky that I was not hit with a real bullet, and that it hit me in a place that hasn't caused permanent damage.
Yeah, but the same can't be said for the land and for the people there. I mean, there's real damage being done to sacred land, and
yes, it's horrific. This is the fight not just against one pipeline on one piece of land, but this is destroying their sacred burial grounds on land that was promised to them in a treaty in 1851. Pipelines have such a high risk of leaking or bursting. We had 3,300 leaks or bursts on U.S. soil alone between 2010 and 2015.
It averages one every other day.
Right. This is about to go under the Missouri River. That is the watershed for 17 million people downstream.
Right.
It's startling.
It really and truly is. Erin, what can people do to support not just you and your efforts, but also, more broadly, the whole Dakota Access or anti-Dakota, the whole Standing Rock effort?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking, because it is really important, and there is something that can be done. Right now, the Dakota Access Pipeline cannot cross underneath the Missouri River without a permit from the Army Corps of Engineers. So our ask is that everyone call the President Obama for another 72 days, call the Army Corps of Engineers. There's going to be an action at local Army Corps of Engineer offices on November 15th, that you contact the North Dakota government and tell them to not issue, to revoke this permit. Also, if you are able, show up. They need numbers. They need people in solidarity. And you don't have to stand on the front lines and participate in these nonviolent actions. There are ways to give your skill set, to contribute however you see fit at camp, by building, by cooking, by organizing, by offering medical attention, PTSD treatment, or also by being there with a stand of solidarity for these peaceful, prayerful people that are trying to not just defend their own land and their own water, but that for all of us, and taking a clear stand for justice and human rights.
So if I wanted to go there, if somebody wants to go there, where do you
Go.
fly into?
Into Bismarck.
Who do you meet? How do you do that? What advice would you give to somebody about, here's how you get to where I was?
Absolutely. Bismarck is the nearest airport. It's a little bit more than an hour away. So you're flying into North Dakota. This is in a town called Cannonball. You can look it up, on a map. There are people driving. There are ride shares happening from the East Coast, from the Midwest, from the West Coast, from all over. So if you want to fly, if you want to drive. And it's getting cold, so bring a tent to be self-sufficient, winterized
Right.
tent.
Don't be a burden on others.
Don't be a burden on others. Come prepared. There is food that is being cooked for people, but we brought our own. We brought our own snacks and whatnot. If you're not comfortable camping and staying there is a casino 10 minutes down the road where a number of people, especially press, are staying. This is a place that's an incredible community. There's so many different efforts. The Asheti Sakoan camp is where we were. That is the largest one. The Sacred Stone camp is also there. Red Warrior. There are a number of different facets. You can reach out to many of them online. If you need assistance, reach out to me, but there is an open call. And that's why I went. It wasn't until I saw this call from the Standing Rock Nation saying, come, that I felt this really is all of our fights, and they are welcoming people with open arms. You will be safe, and you will be needed.
Amen. Erin Schrode, her website, Erin Schrode, ErinSchrode. You can tweet her at Erin Schrode. Erin, you're doing great work. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Great talking to you. We'll be back. It's 18 minutes past the hour.